Presidents have come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, but who is the shortest and who was the tallest? Be sure to follow along and comment below if you are as tall as any of these presidents. By the way, take these heights with a small grain of salt, as heights definitely depend on who you ask, but generally speaking, these are close to the true heights of the presidents of the United States. Coming in at the shortest is the 4th president, James Madison, at 5 foot 4 inches tall. He also holds the record of the lightest president at only 100 pounds. We're skipping 5 foot 5 and going straight to 5 foot 6, which contains 2 presidents, 8th President Martin Van Buren and 23rd President Benjamin Harrison. Inch taller at 5 foot 7 gives you 2 presidents again, 2nd President John Adams and 25th President William McKinley. Our first half-inch president is 6th President John Quincy Adams at 5'7.5". Moving on to 5 foot 8, we have 4 presidents, 9th President William Henry Harrison, 11th President James K. Polk, 12th President Zachary Taylor, and 18th President Ulysses S. Grant. Half an inch taller at 5 foot 8.5 is 19th President Rutherford B. Hayes. 2 presidents share 5 foot 9, 13th President Millard Fillmore and 33rd President Harry S. Truman. Half an inch taller than them is 39th President Jimmy Carter at 5 foot 9.5. 5'10 contains 4 presidents, 14th President Franklin Pierce, 17th President Andrew Johnson, 26th President Theodore Roosevelt, and 30th President Calvin Coolidge. 34th President Dwight D. Eisenhower comes in half an inch taller at 5 foot 10.5. 2 presidents, 22nd and 24th President Grover Cleveland and 28th President Woodrow Wilson come in at 5'11". As we get taller, we get more half inches, so surprisingly, 4 presidents come in at 5'11.5". 27th President William Howard Taft, 31st President Herbert Hoover, 37th President Richard Nixon, and 43rd President George W. Bush. So who's in the coveted 6 feet tall club? Well, 8 presidents are actually exactly 6 feet tall. 5th President James Monroe, 10th President John Tyler, 15th President James Buchanan, 20th President James A. Garfield, 29th President Warren G. Harding, 38th President Gerald Ford, and our current 46th President Joseph R. Biden. Above 6 foot is 6 foot 1 7th President Andrew Jackson, 35th President John F. Kennedy, and 40th President Ronald Reagan. 6 foot 1.5 contains 2 presidents, 1st President George Washington and 44th President Barack Obama. At 6 foot 2, we have 21st President Chester A. Arthur, 32nd President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and 41st President George H. W. Bush. At 6 foot 2.5 is 3rd President Thomas Jefferson and 42nd President Bill Clinton. Coming in at the top 3 is 45th President Donald J. Trump at 6 foot 3. The second tallest president in the United States history is 36th President Lyndon B. Johnson at 6 foot 3.5 tall. Comment below if you can guess our tallest president in history. Yes, it is our 16th President Abraham Lincoln at an enormous 6 foot 4 inches tall. So what are our final statistics? Well, the average height of a U.S. president is 5 foot 11 inches tall, while 44% of our presidents were 6 foot or taller.